Hi friends, today we're going to talk about factoring trinomials when the value of a is bigger than 1. So the first thing we always want to look for is any common factors to take out. So here I know that 3 and 15 and 18 all have a common factor of 3. If I broke these up, 3 would be the same as 1 times 3 and then x cubed. 15x squared would be the same as 3 times 5 times x, and then negative 18x would be the same as negative 1 times 2 times 3 times 3 times x. So I can look and see that I have a 3 and an x in each of my terms here. So if I take out a 3x, then I'm left with an x squared plus 5x plus negative 6. And now when I look at the x squared plus 5x plus negative 6, I can use the same method that we used in our last section. A is 1, B is 5, C is negative 6. So A times C is negative 6. I know I need to multiply to a negative and add to a positive. So 1 positive, 1 negative, and the positive has to be bigger. Remember now I want to ignore the signs, find two numbers that multiply to 6 and subtract to 5. So we have 6 and 1, which subtracts to give us 5. Here I meant to say this bigger number is negative, not the bigger number is positive. Nope, that was right. Bigger number positive. So positive 6 and negative 1 multiplies to give us negative 6, adds to give us 5. So my final answer then, we still have the 3x on the outside, and then x plus 6, x minus 1. Let's look at another one. If I break up 5x squared, 1 times 5 times x, negative 35x, negative 1 times 5 times 7 times x, and then 50, 2 times 5 times 5. So it looks like I can take a 5 out of all of these. And then I'm left with x squared, or 1x squared, plus negative 7x, plus 10. So now A is 1, B is negative 7, C is 10, A times C is 10. So here I'm multiplying to positive 10, adding to negative 7, which means the two sides are going to be negative. Now that I know there's going to be negative, I can kind of ignore the signs. 10 times 1 multiplies to 10, but it adds to 11. 5 times 2 multiplies to 10, and it adds to 7. And here both numbers are negative. So my final answer then, 5 on the outside, x minus 5, x minus 2. Let's look at this one. 6x to the third, 2 times 3 times x times x times x, 30x squared, 2 times 3 times 5 times x, and then 24x, 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times x. And it looks like I have a 2, a 3, and an x that's common to all of these. Oops. So we have 6x on the outside, and we're left with x squared plus 5x plus 4. In this case, A is 1, B is 5, C is 4. So I'm looking for two numbers that are going to multiply to give me 4 and add to give me 5. My options for 4 are either 4 times 1 or 2 times 2, and 4 times 1 is the one that adds to give me 5. So my final answer then is 6x on the outside, and then x plus 4 times x plus 1. You could put x plus 1 times x plus 4. That doesn't matter. Now this one, you're probably thinking there isn't a GCF I can take out, but we always want our value of a to be positive. So if you start with a negative x squared, how we can make that positive is by taking out a negative 1. And then remember, we change everything on the inside. So it becomes positive x squared plus negative 2x plus negative 3. So now A is 1, B is negative 2, C is negative 3. A times C is negative 3. So I'm looking for two numbers then. They're going to multiply to negative 3. And add to negative 2. If I'm multiplying to a negative, I know I have a positive and a negative, and in this case, the negative has to be bigger since we're ending up with a negative 2. So now that I know that, I'm going to look for numbers that multiply to 3 and subtract to give me 2. The only options there are 3 and 1. We said the bigger number has to be negative, so negative 3 and positive 1. So our final answer then, negative 1 on the outside, x plus 1, x minus 3. All right, so that is how we factor by taking out a common factor first and then using the diamond method.